You cannot be a minister and say, I'm not going to tell people the truth. You cannot be a minister and say, I'm not going to tell people the things that will send them to hell. Ezekiel chapter 3, verses 17 to 21 talks about how Ezekiel was being instructed by God. He was being instructed by God to tell the children of Israel the things of their unrepentant sin. And God warned Ezekiel that if he didn't tell them these things, they were going to die in their unrepentant sin. Also, Ezekiel was going to be accountable for them dying. And all his unrighteous works that he did unto the Lord was going to be wasteless because he didn't tell the Israelites the truth. But in the same context of those same verses, verse 19 and verse 21 talks about how if Ezekiel did tell them, if they decided not to listen, they were going to die in their unrepentant sin. And Ezekiel was going to be delivered from his sins that he was going through, and he was going to go to heaven. So I say that to say this, not verse 19 and verse 21, but verse 18, 18 and 20 is clear. Read those verses, study to show yourselves approved, to make sure I'm right. If pastors nowadays continue to encourage, enable sin, and not tell people the truth because they want a certain thing or they want to live in sin themselves, they are going to be accountable on Judgment Day. They are going to be the ones that will be among the ones that say, I never knew you. You work in iniquity. Yeah, you did this in your name. Yeah, you preached all those years, but it was meaningless because you still didn't want to tell people the truth. You're preaching, feel-good preaching. You're preaching a prosperity gospel, not the truth. You can't say you're a pastor and sleep with multiple women. You can't say you're a pastor and say righteousness does not exist. That's a lukewarm spirit. That's a wolves in sheep's clothing spirit. There's scriptures that talk about you shouldn't die with people like people that claim to believe in these things because that's a sign of a timely death. Spiritual, maybe physical. So you can't say you're a pastor and say you don't want to tell people the truth. You're going to go to hell. You're going to die a spiritual death and a timely death, depending on what it is. So if you claim to be a minister, if you claim to be a believer in God in general, we need to tell people the truth as believers. We need to stop sugarcoating scripture just to make people feel good. God bless. Hope y'all are convicted.